Hello, everybody. My name is Vera, also known as eraserlettuce. You can find me on Instagram as eraserlettuce. I like video games, costuming, set building, and I'm just a huge nerd. So check out my stuff on Instagram. Was
Oh,
that
how
lame?
did you get the name Eraser Lettuce?
So it was like a meme format on Tumblr a while ago where they would take eyeshadow palettes and
Uh-huh.
name it weird stuff like rotisserie chicken or whatever. And one of them was like eraser lettuce, and I was like, haha, that's so funny. And so I made that mine.
So you've been Eraser Lettuce ever since?
Yeah, well, I was originally just on Tumblr because I was looking for like a weird thing to name my blog. And then
Uh-huh.
when I was looking to upgrade from my, elementary school usernames that I was using, I was like, that's the one.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So do a lot of people ask you about how you got your
A
name?
lot of people ask me. I imagine that it's like the little like shreds left over whenever you erase something. So I imagine.
Uh-huh. Do you have stickers for that?
No, not really.
You said you do sell stickers, though, right?
I do
And
sell
pins?
stickers. I do sell stickers. So I have like stickers of my costumes and stuff like that.
No way.
Yeah.
Like what your picture is of right now, it would be a pin or a sticker?
Let me see if I have something. And then I
You have a
have like
website? Are you on Etsy? Where are you?
I don't have a website or anything. I really just sell it at my booth. My
At
booth.
your booth. So we'd really have to catch you in person.
Let me show
Yeah.
you. Let me see if it'll let me send.
But you go to all the big conventions, right?
I do. I'm not guesting. I don't think I'm gonna guest at WeaveCon, but I'm going to be there because I'm just doing my sets.
Okay. So like Vegas, LA, do you ever fly out to those people?
No, unless
Those
they like
people?
invite me, I don't go.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm
Then
not gonna
what happens
lie.
when you get invited?
Whenever I get invited, then they usually pay for like my hotel room. If it's far, it's travel, and then like I also get like a pass for me and then a pass for my handler,
Uh-huh.
and then I go. But I'm not gonna lie, I
Oh.
don't pay for tickets anymore. I don't go if I'm not invited. I don't want to.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it's a lot of work. Also,
Yeah.
like it is like work at some point, and so if I'm not gonna pay to go and like work, you know?
Right. So
Yeah.
have you gone to the LA conventions or the Vegas
No,
ones?
I just typically haven't gone out of state in general. Like I don't really like go. Yeah. My friend's trying to get me to go to the LA one with
Mm-hmm.
her because she's moving
Are
to
you
LA.
thinking about it?
Yeah, because she's moving to LA, I might as well, you know?
Oh, yeah, you could go visit her and then attend out there and like really meet a lot of people because I think a lot of people go to those.
Yeah, a lot of people do go to those.
Did
I
you
didn't
plug in
even.
your mic for this?
Yeah, well, I have like 3 microphones.
Are you gaming too? Do you like Twitch?
I do sometimes.
Oh, cool. What games do you play?
I play a lot of like first person shooters, so I'll play Warzone or
No. No, did I just find a gamer girl?
I am definitely that's actually my major.
Tell me what? You can
Yeah.
major as a gamer girl?
Well, I'm majoring in video game
Graphic arts.
programming.
Oh, okay.
So I game a lot. That's
I
like my
see you.
thing.
Okay, do you play Apex?
I do not play Apex. That's the one first person that I haven't tried yet.
Can we play Apex? That's like my favorite game.
All right, I'll give it a try. I've tried. Well, I haven't even played Fortnite. I just played Lego Fortnite.
Oh yeah, Lego. So, I played when it first came out, and then I guess there was like a big hype or something. I re-downloaded it like last year or something, and I was like, "There's so many different game modes."
There really is. There really is.
I love the Squid game mode.
Oh yeah, that I like. There's a free version also on Steam
Yes,
called Crab Game.
crab game.
Yes.
Yes, I have crab game.
I
Yes.
really want to play it, but it's so hard to get that many people together.
I played crab game, and then when I went to Fortnite, I was like, "This is like crab game," but I was like, "Hello, it's Squid Game."
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I love that game. I'm also a first person shooter, so I do play like Call of Duty, Warzone, all of them. I'm bad at Siege, but I play it. CS:GO, I love CS:GO.
Yeah, I try and play. I like the battle royales when I do first persons or one like Valorant, but I haven't ever really got into like the multiplayer versions where it's like search and destroy and stuff like that.
Oh, I do play Valorant too. I thought it was kind of hard for me to play Valorant when I first played it because it was so blocky. Like, you know what I mean? When you like turn and shoot, and it was like,
Yeah, you're not supposed to move and shoot in Valorant, which is very different than if you play like other first person shooters.
yep. So it was an adjustment for me for sure, but the graphics got better, so it's a little bit more tolerable. But to me, it's still very like robot, you know, like.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then Siege was just way too technical. I was like, whoa, there's so much going on, like angles. You gotta like hit the angle peeking.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, this is too much too. Like I'm good on COD and I'm like I love Apex. I'm like diehard fan. It's so annoying. I buy the COD games when they come out. I buy all the games and then I go back to Apex.
Yeah, I never really got into COD multiplayer. I just stick to Warzone.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I grew up on COD, so zombies for sure. I think I started out on Black Ops. I know Warzone, or not Warzone. It was what was it? God, I forgot the name already. But was it? It wasn't Modern Warfare. Yes, it was Modern Warfare. Modern Warfare was really big. People were saying that was like the best game, but I was like right after that. Black Ops 1, I hit the zombies real hard. They had a lot of snow maps and desert maps and all that, but yeah, it was me and my girls would go hard. Like all the girls would come over to my house after school. I had multiple controllers and we would just be playing zombies. Even one of my childhood friends, we grew up staying up, pulling all-nighters, freaking drinking Monsters with our cup of noodles and playing zombies all night long. But yeah, those are some really good memories. And not even to mention only get to like level 5 or 6. It was just wild.
Yeah, my brother and I would play Sonic Adventures 2 Battle. That was what we would do. Whenever I got home, that was what we would get on. We'd play it all night.
Nice. And now you're on PC?
Yes, I play PC.
Okay. Yeah, we'll have to connect and like exchange Discord and Discord and Steam. Because yeah, I be playing the games and sometimes it's lonely, like when you're just playing with randoms.
Yeah, I typically won't play games if I have to play them by myself unless they are strictly single player. And even then, I'll like stream it on Discord so that my friends can play with me technically by like watching.
Yeah, I know. We'll definitely have to get on Apex. You have to do your little tutorial so that we can play like games together, but it's super fun. You do have to learn different characters' abilities. But other than that, it's still your basic first person shooter. I mean, it's really like Warzone. You gotta loot your ammo, loot your gun. Your abilities are when you pick your character, so you just
I opened it up before. So I
okay.
kind of know, but I never really like played it after that. Like I downloaded it, I opened it up, and that was like I looked at all the stuff and then I just never played it again.
Oh shoot. Okay.
So I know a little bit of the basis, and I watched Dr. Disrespect play it.
Oh, yep. That's a big one. Have you actually met him in person?
I actually have, yes. I went to his Snapshot when it came to Arlington. I believe it was Arlington when it came to the e-gamers thing. And I told him that I'm going to work for him one day. I was like, next time you see me, I'm going to be working for you. And he was like, all right. I met Z-Laner too. It's pretty cool.
Oh, he wasn't disrespectful because I heard he stays in character.
He does stay in character, but so his character isn't always disrespectful. Like he's still like he has his moments even when he's in character where he's not, you know. So he was just like, that's right, that's what I like to hear.
Yeah, just like his typical like character voice, and you know.
But he was also working because he was like showing off his game, so he was probably not trying to like cause a scene, you know.
Right.
But no, he's really cool. He's really cool.
So are you talking like building sets for him?
No, because I'm a video game programming major, I want to join Midnight Society, his
Oh,
game company, and I want to be like a
part of the
project lead. Yeah.
yeah. That's really cool. How did you even get into that?
Video game design
Yeah.
specifically. So I went to a technology-based high school. It was an Apple Distinguished School, and I originally was going for robotics because I really wanted to do, like, I love building robots. I wanted to be like
Oh my
Jimmy
God, you're
Neutron.
my kind of girl. Sure. I was in robotics too, and I went to a trade-based high school. That
Mhm.
is so dope. Wait, what is an Apple?
Apple Distinguished School is a school that is sponsored by Apple. So we had like MacBooks
Really?
and stuff like that, and it was all project-based learning. We had 2 hallways. All the classrooms were made out of glass. Everything was project-based. We had the occasional like normal classes where you like had homework and stuff, but typically
Mhm.
all the major grades was you had to do a project for it. So it was like really big on like collaboration, and they even had like video game design courses, and we had a maker space outside of like just outside the school for like robotics and stuff like that. So it was really
Okay.
like technology like forward. It was like new learning, quote unquote.
Ooh,
Yeah.
tell me about more projects you've done in some of your technical classes.
In high school, it was, oh my gosh, God, that was so long ago now. I know we made catapults because we did a school-wide Renaissance fair thing where different classes, or like different like groups, like after school groups, each did something like different, and we uh, invited like parents and siblings and stuff to come through the school and just kind of like experience our Ren Fair. And we made cabbage catapults to launch over the school.
Over your whole school?
Yeah, it was like the maker's space just decided like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, this is what we're gonna do because
Did
we're
you have to do
crazy.
the math on that of like parabola of where the cabbage would land at what force?
So I honestly like that part because it was like a extracurricular group that was doing it. We didn't do a lot of that. We did a lot of testing it just because it was fun, but it
Right.
was mainly just like the fun part of it. The guy that ran the makerspace was actually the physics teacher, so he was a big help with that.
That is awesome. Yeah, I love going to a trade school. And I really learned a lot by going there. And it wasn't like your typical regular high school. It was, I think they called it like a charter school.
Yeah,
But
that's
we
what mine
had,
was. Charter
yeah,
school.
we had like a school wide project. And basically, what we would do is we were given our assignment, and it was usually like at the end of the semester or end of each like term, I think, like half of the year. But what they would do is give us like the stipulations of what our project would be, and like in our English class we'd have to write about it, and we all took intro to engineering and engineering classes, so we had to like draft our project. In construction we had to build it, so we really use like all of our classes. Like the history class, we like had to research and write like a history report on it. And I think one of the years we had to build a exhibit for like the local science museum for the kids, the children's museum. And so they would say, this is the stipulations, like try to make an exhibit for this science museum that they could display. It was really cool in a sense where all of our core classes had an application to like real life, and we really got to see it come to life. So that's kind of what I really liked about charter school and trade school, is that it's not like your typical high school of having like the typical high school experiences, that more technical trade side of it. Wait, so how did you
So,
end up going to a school like that?
so uh, I'm I would say I was a very smart kid. And like I have a very good memory, and I had always had very good test scores. And when I was in elementary school, I was homeschooled because I was bullied a lot. And so when I went into homeschool, I ended up finishing my entire, it wasn't like my mom was homeschooling me. It was like an online school. So it was still like a real school, but I finished the whole curriculum in a month. And so they tried to get me to skip grades. And I was like, I don't really, want to do that. Like I want to have the typical high school experience. So I went back to middle school where I had to take like the placement test again. And they accidentally gave me, going into 7th grade, they accidentally gave me the test for people going into 9th grade, going into high school. And I passed them. I didn't get below a 95 on any of them. And so they tried to get me to skip classes again. And I was like, no, again. And that happened throughout my entire middle school experience. So by the time that I got to high school, I had charter schools like sending me stuff all the time. But my mom was like really hesitant about sending me to a charter school because that would mean us moving. Because at the time I was in Austin, basically. I was going to school in Austin. She's like, that's like really far, like to go, like to for us to like just pick up and move to go to a charter school. And eventually like halfway through, I want to say my freshman year, she kind of like gave in and she was like, okay, let's go to the school. And so I went, and I actually got to get into the school a little funky because they're very strict. People have to camp outside in tents in order to
apply?
To wait in line to get accepted into like the extra spots that are filled. Yes. You don't get to just go sign up for this school. Like they have like campouts that they would do. And the only other way to get in is if you were legacied in, like if one of your siblings were to go there. And the first class was like 20 people. Goodness. So there wasn't a lot of that, There was only one other grade above mine. It was one grade. So at this time when I got in, they were sophomores. And there was only like 20 of them. Their siblings could get legacied in, but everybody else had to like camp out. And you could not join, typically you could not join halfway through the year. It was not like allowed. Like you had to be there at the time to get in. Like it was because it was Apple. So everybody was like, it was like a big deal. And they had just like sent me a message and they were like, come join our school right now. And so I got to join halfway through the year and it was like big school gossip and stuff like that because I got to join halfway through the year and I didn't have to do the camp out or anything. So I was like, for 1 year, I was a big shot. It was pretty cool. It was pretty fun. So eventually I was able to get into that and it was very, very different because I had done half a year at like a normal school. And I was like, this is fucking crazy. Like, this is small. There's no, like, I had bridges in my last high school because I went to a normal high school. There was bridges in between, like,
how
two
big
floors. Yeah, we had four.
How big is our graduating class?
My graduating class was like 100 or so people, I want to say.
Compared to, like, what your typical high school was?
My typical high school was probably, oh, my God. God. I don't even know. So many. Like we had like nobody in my high school class, but my other high school that I went to, we had 3 gyms, we had 2 cafeterias, and there were like restaurants in each cafeteria. Like we had like
it was like one of those mega. Yeah, I didn't grow up in Texas, so when I was in robotics and we went to go help out the high schoolers for those first robotics competition or whatever, or you know what? Actually, I don't think it was our first robotics yet. I think they were just getting their projects ready and displaying them at this high school. I saw restaurants in the cafeteria. And I was like, what is this? Like their schools look like colleges for sure.
So we had Panda Express and Pizza Hut on like the sides. And those were like you had to pay actual cash for. But if you had like, like free school lunch or whatever, you had we had a Mexican food restaurant, we had a Chinese food restaurant, we had American food, and then we had like a grill, and then we had like the normal like school lunches, and then we had 2 other different kinds. I don't remember. So we had like a lot. And then we had A hall. A hall was 4 hallways. So you were in either a hallway 1, 2, 3, or 4. And that was connected to like the main hall. And that was like all art and theater because we had 3 theaters. 3 fucking theaters. And one was 2 floors. I was like, this was like huge. And then we had B hall, C hall, D hall, and E hall were technically 2 halls each on the bottom floor and then 2 halls each on the top floor. And then we had like side halls, like bringing them together. And then we had bridges on the second floor to go from B hall 1 to B hall 2. And then G hall had like 3 different gyms, and we had 2 football fields and They also had like a gymnastics gym that was like separate from the other gyms, and then they had like ROTC, and so there was so much like in that school. And then I got pulled out of that school and put into this school, and it was literally like you could talk at one end of the school and someone could probably hear you at the other end. Like it was so small and there was no one there.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that is wild. Actually, my graduating class for my regular high school, I think was 1,500. So actually it was pretty big. We were still in, what's it called? Like trailers, half buildings.
Oh yeah, I went. That was my elementary school was like that.
Yeah, so I think I never seen stadiums like I do out here.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all are really about your football.
Yeah.
And it's wild. And even the tech side too. I mean, the funding they get for the robotics, just because, in college we help out the high schoolers from time to time, and just seeing how much people invest, through their taxes and stuff. It's phenomenal to see the kids out here getting such a good education.
Yeah.
But yeah, that sounds really cool about the Apple funded school. A lot of our base knowledge was real life applications. So it was more of maybe not so hard to get into.
Well, the grade above me was half basically that, like kids that were like struggling with the way that education was basically like given to them, like the normal way that education is done was not working for them, like they didn't have the best grade. They were basically like, we need to give these kids like something, like a different route, like let's see if this route works for them. So like half that class was like an experiment class of like, is this a better way to teach kids that did not connect very well with the standardized way of
learning.
Teaching. Yeah, of like learning and stuff like that. And I really wish my brother had gone to that, but he didn't want to go to he's like, I don't want to go to your nerd school. Everything I did was not cool, because we were kids. So
honestly, when you look back, cool. Don't you think it was really cool?
I thought that it was really cool. But he, little brother was like, nothing you do is cool. I don't want to go to your nerd school. And so he went to like the normal school, and my brother has special needs. And I really feel like if he had gone to the school that I went to, his high school experience would have been so different, because he didn't realize, he's like, why do I need to do the homework if I know the material, and that's kind of like how my school was. They were like, if you know the material, why do you need to do that, just show me that you know the material. And so that was like that the first, so they had like 20 people in their class. I would say 10 were like super smart people, and then like the other 10 were like, God, we hope they graduate, and they did. Yeah. They graduated, and I know my friend tells me all the time. He's like, I don't think at normal high school I would have graduated. He's like, I'm surprised that like I've made it. And they because it's so small, they were able to give them a lot of special attention to like what they needed to succeed. Right. And they also had trades, like they had like welding and like auto and stuff. So we had that across the street from our what's it called? Our cafeteria. So they could also just like put something hands-on as well. So, yeah, I feel like schools like that are really good for people that to learn differently.
Our school was practically in a warehouse. We were in a warehouse, and we had dividers to divide up our classes, like those Japanese style, foldable. That's literally how we ended up dividing our classes. I think we had 3 classes in one building that had the little folders, and then they built a wall for the engineering side. And then as they started to expand, they bought the warehouse below. And then they added, we had the small engine shop, we have the construction. Oh yeah, we did have a construction shop, and then science. And then I think they ended up getting a little gym, but yeah, it's completely in like a business area in a warehouse. And that's kind of where we did all of our learning. Our PE class was pretty interesting too. But Yeah, we played in the parking lot. But yeah, no, I really like that. And I think it's so important that, the kids that can't learn have the opportunity to learn in different ways that will help them. So I'm really fortunate I got to go to that school. I think how I ended up going there was I was kind of a like troubled kid growing up, and my pastor's wife worked there, and my mom was close to the pastor's wife, so she was like, yeah, like, come, bring your daughter to this school. That's pretty much how I got in, and then ended up graduating there. But I had moved high schools like 6 times, so it was kind of all over the place. But I think at the end of the day, when I graduated there, I was pretty proud. And looking back now, I think, wow, what really cool opportunities that we had. But I think, in school, I had the opportunity senior year to take additional classes to learn, and I really wish I did now. But I think back then I was like, oh, half a day and I could leave. Oh, yeah, like,
Yeah.
I could definitely do that. Like, yeah, that was a while back.
I'm a June baby, so I was always the youngest in my class because that's like around like the weird area of like when one grade to the next grade,
Yeah, definitely. I was pushed forward when I was younger because I went to Montessori, and then they held me back. So then I ended up going back to my regular class or whatnot. But yeah, technically I should be, I think, the grade above. But
yeah, my birthday falls on usually what's usually the last day of school. So they were like, we can either put you in this class and you'll be almost behind, or we can put you in this class and you'll be almost ahead because of like where my birthday fell. And I'd started school when I was like 2 years old. So my mom was like, I don't want to wait a year if you're not doing school. So we might as well just put you in early. And I was like, okay. So I've always been like the youngest. Everybody else was like always older.
Yeah, that's not too bad though. I mean, you ended up excelling anyways. But yeah, so after high school, what did you end up doing?
So after high school, I went to the 2-year junior college by where I went to high school, and I ended up just trying to do my basics there while I figured out where I wanted to go, because I really wanted to go at the time. My goal was to go to UT, and because they have a really good robotics course at UT actually, and that was just never really in the cards for where my life went after that. I eventually ended up going to Austin Community College because it was easier to balance that and then like my life balance, because my family's disabled, so I had to give them care at the same time that I was attending college. So it ended up being a lot of like, I'll do one semester and then not do a semester, or I'll take like really light classes one semester, and like so on and so forth. And there was like year, I believe, of time where I didn't get to go to college at all because of dealing with that. And then eventually I was like, oh, I want to move to Dallas because I got into costuming and cosplay and like stuff like the convention scene, and that was like mainly surrounded in Dallas. And I was like,
I didn't know that.
Most of like the biggest cons, like A-Con was the biggest con. I think the third biggest con in the United States actually at the time, and it was the biggest con in Texas.
Music.
Yeah.
Not A-Con.
But it was that's where the conventions were, and I was like, well, if I want to be, in like the scene, because I would drive up there all the time, rent a hotel room. So I was like, okay, it's time. So and I had lived in like Oklahoma for like a year, I think, while I was going to ACC. So I would drive from Oklahoma to ACC to take my tests, which is like a 6-hour drive. So eventually I was like, okay, I'm moving to Dallas. Like, that's it. That's final. And so I switched to Dallas Community College because during COVID, they merged with Richland College, which had a really good video game design. Like, they had a really good program for it. And so they merged with them. And so I went and I joined that college. And so that's what I've been doing ever since.
So when is your graduation date?
Okay, hold on, let me do some math. Okay, so I switched my major. I switched from robotics programming to video game design, and they have two kinds of courses there. They have programming and then they have design. And I thought I wanted to do design because I wanted to make VTuber models and stuff like that. But you got to know how to draw. I'm not an artist, okay? I'm
draw on CAD or just draw freehand?
I think it's just draw in general. Like they had a lot of like drawing and art courses because the design part of it is the art. It's basically art. So they just mix in like the 3D modeling and stuff like that and animation with the art. And I was like, and it's mandatory. You have to take the drawing classes. And I was like, I cannot draw. I am a math girly, not an art girly. I can't do it. So I was like, I will fail these classes. 100%. I can't. And so I switched partway through my major to the programming side of it. And so I had to restart a couple of times. Luckily, a lot of the credits did carry over. So I am a year and a semester in, I believe. Yeah, 1 year, 1 semester in of like a 5-semester course. So I have the end of this one and then another semester left to go. But I might do another semester and then like a year so that I can really get in a lot of like the internship programs that they have. About a year and a half left, hopefully.
Yeah, so how's that going? How are your classes? Have you taken any classes that you really love? I mean, I know really nothing about video game programming, but tell me all about it. I want to know.
I actually love all of my classes. Doing this reminds me a lot of whenever I was like the way my high school was set up. There's no homework. There's no lectures. There's no note taking. There's none of that. Well, there's semi lectures, but there's no like note taking that you do. Like it's all 100% applied. So I went and I bought like a backpack to put my journals in. I bought pencils and pens and I was like ready to sit down in class and like start taking notes. And they were like, you will never need that here. Ever.
That is awesome.
And I have never ever used it. It's all like you just go in and you make the projects. The lectures are like videos that they post and they're like, yep, just use this video to like, apply it to whatever project that you're doing. And it's all applied. I love project dev because I like being like a team lead and stuff like that. And they have, they call them game jams where you have a very short period of time to make a game with a team full of other people that signed up for the game jam. And you just make a small, quick game based on like a prompt or whatever that they have for you. And I love doing those. Those are the best. I just recently did one and we won our game jam. So
what kind of game was it? Or can you talk about it?
Oh yeah, I can. It's like public. It was for Thanksgiving, and it had to be like Thanksgiving themed about like helping others and like food and stuff like that. Like they gave us like a list of like prompts, and so I made a platformer where you have to go through and collect like food as you're like going up like the trees to deliver it to a house. And it was like the storyline was basically like there are people in the world that don't have access to food throughout the year, especially on like holidays. So it's important to like, do your part if you can to like help these people, get food. And so you're like the food delivery that's like going through and like picking up food from places, and you collect like donations from like other it was like a forest kind of thing. And there was like little mushroom houses and they were like donating food for you to bring to these people. Cause when I was younger, I was one of those families that I, didn't have access to like food and stuff. And so I was the one like receiving. And so the character is actually based on me going through and like collecting donations to like bring up to like this house. And so we were going to make different levels one was like a forest, one was like a mountain, but it's you only have like 2 weeks. So we did just like one level, and it was all pixel art.
Did you still have to spend a lot of time outside of the classroom? Because I know you said you didn't have homework, but do you consider it homework when you have to spend time out of the classroom with your classmates to kind of discuss and like really spend the time designing the game?
So the game jam is definitely like a club. It's like basically like a club. So it's all extracurricular, but all of my classes I do outside of class. My teachers basically tell me that the only time I need to go to class is if I'm showing my game and asking for feedback. Or if I need direct help from him. I do not attend any of my classes. I do not go up to the school. I do not do any of that. I do sometimes have online meetings where I meet up with the class and basically we talk about like, oh, hey, did you guys, do this? Or like, hey, teacher, like I need this. But 90% of it is
individual.
Yeah. It's individual, but it's also just at your own computer. So the time that I would spend in class, I'm technically spending at home working on it instead, which is fine.
Right.
I prefer that other than driving up to Richardson every day.
Right.
Yeah.
Is there a way to play the game? Do you have like a demo game?
Yeah, actually It's on here. Let me do I can send you a link real quick.
Yeah, send me the link and I could drop the link in, the podcast description where people could also find it. As well as link it to the Instagram.
It's definitely a very small. It's like game jam games are not made to be good. Did you know Among Us actually started out as a game jam game?
Oh,
it's basically
I've never played
an
it,
idea.
I know it's very popular.
It's
I would love to play it just because you made it and you basically describes everything to me about it. And it reminds me of a game called Valheim. I don't know if you've ever played that.
I played Valheim. This one is
You played Valheim?
So did you know that Lego Fortnite is basically Valheim? Like it has all the same mechanics. It's just skinned differently.
Yeah.
So this one isn't like a survival game. It's definitely just
I'm just surprised you play Valheim. Like I could play Valheim with you. Like I'm the hunter and gatherer. I love you want to build, like I will go out and get all your supplies for you. I love fishing. I love killing. Like
I am definitely a builder. 100%.
I'll go get all the wood, girl. I'll go get
I used to be paid to build in Minecraft back in the olden days.
I get lost in the sauce. I'm like out there, like I don't know why I like to play the man role, but I'm like, yeah, you'll be at home. You could cook. You could cook all the meat. Like I'll go out and I'll go fishing and I'll go hunting and I'll come home at the end of the day. But yeah, no, I'll play with you. That sounds super fun. I don't really come I'm like a low key video gamer. I just played it growing up and stuff, but I used to teach all my friends how to play and they're all girlies. And, now that I'm older, it's kind of hard to find girls that play first person shooters.
Here, this is actually,
like I'm really excited. Valheim is a really fun game too. I don't know what kind of game. Oh, I see the link. It like flashes on the screen and then it disappears.
There you go. I sent,
that's the actual link. Chat?
It's in the chat, yes.
Cool.
So whenever you go to download it, if you need help figuring out which one runs it, because this is like not a fully rendered game. Like this is like an idea.
Oh, girl, you did this. I
actually did all of the art for this.
You did?
Yes, because we didn't have an artist at the time. So we have I had a couple of programmers, and then I had a level designer and a programmer that was also a level designer. And then I was project lead, basically. And we had no artists. Not a lot of artists signed up for this. And so I had to do all the art myself. So I just did all pixel art.
Oh, I'm on a MacBook. It doesn't download on a MacBook, huh?
I have no idea.
It shows the little windows, but I don't see the little apple. I do have my PC that I could go download this on. So no worries. I just wanted to see if I could real quick low key kind of play while you're talking, but but yeah, no, I'm really excited to try it out.
It's just like an idea. It's not like a full-fledged game or anything. There's a scoring system and stuff like that. But it's definitely like whenever you do game jam games, it's like an idea that you're supposed to build off of. It's not supposed to be like the full-fledged game because you have so little time.
Right. It's like basically the prototype. Okay. And then you could kind of go in and fix any of bugs or anything that like you could add on in full detail later.
Yeah, it's definitely for like we call it kind of like so we do these things called blackouts where everything is in complete, like it's just blocks, and that's why it's called a blackout. It's just blocks, like there's nothing to it. And if the game is boring whenever you play the blackout version, it's not gonna be fun whenever it's like fully arted out and kitted out and stuff like that. This is basically kind of like that. It's kind of like a blackout because it's a single level. It's not like the mechanics could be better, it could be prettier. There's so much that could be done, and it's only a single level, so it's not enough to be like a full game, but it is like an idea that you can like take somewhere else. We're not going to. It was just for this, but
That's cool. Have you done any other video game projects?
I am working on another video game project right now in my class. There's nothing playable yet, but it's similar to Mirror's Edge-esque. Like there's definitely like a lot of like parkouring around and stuff, but it's like a small time project for sure. But it's class wide, so it's like 3 different classes are all working on the same one.
Okay. And what are the prompts for that?
We have 2 different sections. So there's a section that is basically supposed to be like laboratory-esque, so like you're in like a lab or like a futuristic area, and you have powers that you can pick up, and they're different depending on which area that you're in. So like some powers are like, oh, you get the ability to sprint like really fast, so you get super speed, or you get the ability to phase through certain walls that are like phaseable and stuff like that. And then when you beat that area, you go to like an underground area. Where it's things like you get the ability to like super jump off walls or swing from certain things. So it changes like the entire like feeling of the game. So you go from like futuristic-y kind of powers to like parkour survival kind of powers, and then like it changes from a futuristic-y area to like a dark shady area. And the thing is like you have to pick up the power. So if you can't pick up multiple, so you have to switch it out for once. You got to figure out which one's going to work best for you in that moment, or you're not going to be able to complete the area. So that's what we're doing so far.
Yeah, that sounds like a really cool project. You'll have to keep me posted on that one as well. And so video game design, so you're pretty much just programming and putting the game together. So you're coding?
Yes, I do coding. I'm learning C++. I learned Python already for robotics, and it's very similar to like the way that like Spanish is similar to like Italian. Like it's not the same, but there's a lot of things that you're like, I know that in this language, so I'll know this in this other language. Like it's very similar, which has helped a lot with it. So I'm doing C++.
How is that?
It's coding is hard. Coding is so hard. I whenever I was doing Python, I cried at one point in time because there's this thing that you can do. It's like import pickle, which is it's like importing like a random number generator, and I was required to remember that for my class, for my test that I was doing in my class, because my teacher had it like set up like, okay, you need to import pickle to import this random number thing that we have set up, and in order to complete this code. And I forgot the word pickle during my test, which I drove 6 hours to take. And I just sat in the computer lab and I cried. And there was other people around me also crying. And they were like, wait a minute, are you in this class? And I was like, yes. And then so we were all in the same class crying. Together. And the guy that was watching over the computer lab was like, oh my God, like, what are you guys going through? And that is how programming is. So
yeah, I believe it. I definitely believe it. And I bet you'll never forget that word now.
No, I think about it every day, actually. I think about pickle every day. But yeah, now I'm doing C++, and my teacher's like, there's no reason you shouldn't be able to look it up. You're always going to be able to look it up. Like you're supposed to like know it, but there's so much to know. You're going to be looking up like the simplest things sometimes, you know? Right. So yeah.
So coding, programming, and I see you did the art for this game.
Yes,
and that is so awesome.
I did technical writing too, because I had to learn it for robotics. Yeah, I had to learn technical writing. So
yeah,
I
also bringing up robotics. Tell me all about it. I want to know, because I was in robotics in high school and then in college, but I always joined late, so I don't fully grasp. Like, I've been to the first robotics competition. I've been to best.
That's what I did. I did best. And I did a first Lego League and all the stuff like that. I did it for about 10 years. And I was I was project lead for a little bit of it, and so I kind of had my hands in a little bit of everything. I had a little bit of coding. I did a little bit of like researching. I did a lot of building. I like to be like hands-on with like tools and stuff. I like that. And I was a driver, so because I'm a gamer, and so I was in charge of driving the robot, and I did it for my first Lego team, and then when I got to my best Lego team, I did a little bit of driving, but my team at the time for New Tech, the school, Yeah, funny. Like the tech school is called New Tech. It's actually a really long name, but we called it like New Tech is his nickname. But I was doing it for New Tech, and our team did not move on. And so another team, which was the main high school that was there, they came out to me and they actually recruited me to be their driver. So when my team didn't move on, I still got to move on. So I switched teams to like the other team from our city, and I got to be a driver for them too. And I got to be a part of a little bit of everything, like with the coding and then stuff like that. So it was really fun. But because I did all that and I have like the tech writing course done and everything like that, I actually use it for, I also do, I'm helping out a company that makes card games, tabletop games. And so I do the tech writing for their manual and stuff like that.
Oh, I see. That's what you mean by tech writing.
Yes. Like, yeah. So it's like, I also do it because I do photography and set building and stuff like that. So I will basically use tech writing to write up like business proposals, use it to write up manuals, use it to write up anything that's like advertising and sales sheets and stuff like that. Like when you need to explain an idea to a certain audience in a certain way, tech writing like teaches you like, okay, this is what this audience is going to want to hear. This is what this audience is going to need to hear. Like, and it's kind of like, and like, this is how you phrase it. So like the audience that you're looking for will understand it. So that's my job. It's actually the like money so well spent. It's probably like the best course I've ever taken.
Yeah,
and I hated it at the time. I hated it.
Yeah, it'll pay off for sure. Because writing even for small businesses, you could be like a good business owner or whatever, but when it comes to like all the forms that need to be drafted and stuff, they could definitely use a writer for that.
The tabletop game company that I work for right now, they're local, they're my friends, I know them. They're small time, and they're self-publishing their stuff, so they have to do like the publishing and the game creating and stuff like that. And that's where I come in with like the writing is like I just recently they just went to Pittsburgh for like a summit, and so I just made like their sell sheet, and basically they write out what they want and I just go through and I'm like, this is what you need to fix, this is not like right, and like I just made the manual for their current game, stuff like that. So it really comes in handy, and there's so many applications to it like across the board that it's really an indispensable course to take for if you're doing stuff like that.
Cool. Yeah, I think I met you at the Dallas Makerspace when you were building a set. How did that go?
Actually, when I was building the set, it actually fell apart completely and everything that I was trying to do with it. But it ended up okay. I'm definitely like, you got to learn and adapt with it. I was trying to, so I have these giant installation boards that come in 8x4. Right. And they are awesome to use for a wide range of things. But the problem is that they are far too big to fit in my SUV. And so I always have to cut them up. And I thought cutting them in half would be enough. And then my plan was to attach them with magnets, but I ended up having to cut it into fourths to get it to fit because it's just so large. And so I had to end up cutting them into fourths, but I had to do it at the Home Depot. And they will not let me use their tools at the Home Depot because they're like, you don't know. Like, we don't let random people use our tools. So this guy took like the worst box cutter in the world to these things. And it's foam, so it came out really jank. So I had to take it to the makerspace and I had to sand it down so it was all even. And then I drilled a little
flush.
Yeah.
Because you had them all side by side. And okay, I get it.
And they were just all like jagged edges and like uneven. And so when I sanded them down and then I put Dremel holes into it and I was going to put the magnets in there. And I work with Eva foam a lot for costuming. And for some reason in my brain, I was like, if this is safe on other foam, it should be safe on insulation foam. Not correct. I used E6000 and it melted through my foam. And so I was like, okay, next. Like,
but it was a fast reaction, right? Like you just it was really fast. The E3000 and you were like, okay, nope, we can't do that anymore.
Well, I had put it on there on like this other area that I was trying to fix before I put the magnets in. And when I was like, why isn't this like sticking? And I looked at it and there's like a bunch of little tiny holes. And I was like, oh, okay. Wrong one, right? So I get contact cement, and contact cement is like the number one thing that you use whenever you work with Eva foam. And I put it in, I was like, this has to work because it works on Eva foam 100%. So I put the magnets in and it like sunk a huge hole in, like it melted so fast. I was like, oh
my God.
no.
So how did you get the magnets in?
So I actually went and I got foam board, caulk, the caulk guns that you use for the, so it's basically like that, but it's foam board Loctite. So it's like supposed to be like glue for sticking insulation foam specifically to other things like concrete and stuff like that.
Oh.
And so I was like, hopefully this works, right? Because these magnets are so strong that they break each other sometimes when they connect because they're so strong. And so I was like, okay, I have strong magnets. Hopefully they don't pull themselves out of this. Like whenever, hopefully this glue is strong enough. And in some places it was strong enough. And in some places they pulled, like one magnet would pull the other one straight out of like the glue hole and stuff like that. But I was like, I had like 4 holes for magnets. So I was like, as long as like 2 of these work, it's fine. And it ended up not being strong enough to hold them up.
Oh.
Yes. So I was like, now I need stronger magnets, stronger glue. And like, it's like the day before and like nothing is working. Like the set is due that night at like 7.
So the magnets, what were you putting up again?
I was trying to magnetize them to each other because I had them in 4. So I was magnetizing them to put the wall back. Yes.
But how did you hang them?
So I use banner stands. So whenever I use foam boards, I will kind of attach it with Velcro adhesive, like the really heavy duty one, and I'll just attach the back of like the full foam board to the banner stand, and it'll stand up and it'll be fine. But because I had it in 4ths, I had to attach those together before I could attach it, and it did not work at all. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna hope that he gives me a wall. And I'm going to just Velcro adhesive them to the wall instead of
okay.
So I've got a lot of that. And luckily I did have a wall. And I adhesed, I put the Velcro adhesive on the back and I adhesed them to the brick wall all the way up. And I actually made too many, which is fine. But it ended up working out, which is good. And now I have more time to go through and get different approach to my magnets for the next one.
Okay. Well, that's a learning experience within itself.
It is always, whenever I do these sets, it's always learning experience because I'm always trying something new when I really should just be doing the things that I know for sure are going to work.
Yeah, I saw it on Instagram. It came out really nice. And I had no idea all the troubles that you went through to make it happen.
That's good. That's good. If you don't know all the troubles, then that means it doesn't look like I had troubles.
How did you get a gig like that?
So I said, as I said, I do like photography and stuff like that. And I would work in like a lot of movies, like small town movies. I did like a Hallmark movie. And so I would I was like in like the movie scene for a while. And, I was in that because my best friend is also a photographer and he was into it and he had done like a lot of set building and we worked together quite a bit on like doing movies, setting up sets for like the movies or like setting up sets for like photo shoots and stuff like that. And so we decided we're like, why don't we have like a studio and like we can like make our sets and put them up at like a studio because we have one that we shoot at often, but we can't, it's not like our own, so we don't want to like leave our sets there that we like spend all this time on to like get broken and stuff. So we're like, let's like make our own, but we did not have like lights cost a lot of money, and then if you're gonna have a studio, you need lights and stuff for sets. So I was like, well, let's see if we can use all of the other sets that we've built so far, because I would build sets for myself for my costumes. I was like, let's see if we can get like a gig with this. And I spent about 2 or 3 years in contact with a convention up here, WeebCon, about doing sets for them. But they're like, oh, we're contracted with someone else right now. And I was like, and they're like, but it's up in 2023. So after 2023, let me know if you're still interested. And I was like, all right. They ended up ending, like their contract ended up ending early. And so it was 2022. And they were like, okay, we need sets. Are you still here? And I was like, oh my goodness, this is my time. So he hired us to do the sets, and he hired us for like 5 or 6 sets. And he gave me enough to make the sets and buy lights for each one of my sets. And we haven't opened the studio yet, but like it was a good like starting point for me to be like, hey, look, I did sets at this major convention. Hire me for your sets. And so then I got hired to do sets for another convention in God, I don't remember where it was, Mesquite or Lubbock or something. It was another convention there, and then the guy that does like KawaiiCon and EtchyCon and stuff like that, he saw my sets and he was like, oh, let me buy them. And so he bought sets off of me. And so ever since then, like people have just like been noticing like, oh, you know, in like this community, you build sets and you sell them. And Kaiju, which is the one that I built this set for last night, was actually is an anime rave that I used to frequent quite often. So I already knew this guy, and he saw that I was doing it, and he was like, "Hey, I would like, you know, one of those for my rave, but I don't want a big one because it's a rave." He's like, "I want like something small, like not too intricate for like people to take photos on at the rave." And he's like, "It's gonna be drunk people, obviously, and it's gonna be rowdy, so something like that." And so I bring like smaller versions of my sets over to him about once a month. I'd say sometimes more than once a month. And so it's kind of like word of mouth and a lot of hard work.
Have you built any favorite sets so far?
I really like my cloud wall because it's really big. It's like 10 foot, 2 10-foot walls by like 10 foot by 10 foot. So it's like encasing in cloud, and that would probably be my favorite because I just think it's super pretty. It's like sitting on like a sea of clouds.
Is that the one in your photo right now? The pink?
No, so that is, there's another set builder in the area that builds sets. She is a cloud tunnel. And so hers is like, it's like a small like square that you sit in, and it looks like a tunnel of clouds behind you. You can't really go into the tunnel. It's just like made to look like that. So that was before I started doing sets and stuff for conventions. She would also do sets at conventions and stuff. So luckily it's like already a thing in the area.
So quick question, like these pictures that you take on Instagram, these are all sets?
Not all of them. So some of them are sets. So like the one that I did in the desert is actually in the desert at the Manahaw Sandhill. My Silent Hill nurse is at the fabrication yard. There was like a building there that had not been like graffitied on or anything like that. And so we shot there before it was graffitied and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that one that I just see right now is the cloud wall. Some of them are at other studios, which was like the Cupid with like the hard eyes that I did. That's at the Dallas Dollhouse, which is a girl who decorated an entire apartment in like pink and red, like a Barbie dream house, kind of. And so her entire house is made to look like a gigantic set for you to shoot on. And then I have like my Alice in Wonderland is at the Dallas Dream House, which is the same girl, but she made it look that like a whole house decked out to look like Alice in Wonderland's palace.
Wow. Where? Oh, she made her house, you said?
Yes, she bought the house. She made her house look like that. So it's a real apartment in an actual apartment complex, and then an actual house in like the suburbs. And she rents it out to people to shoot on. But a lot of them are on my sets or sets that I have like built around because I work with photographers that work in the studio, and I will build sets for them and like move things around or bring my own sets in, stuff like that.
So I just have a question because I've seen these pop up in malls and such. What do you think about doing sets for like those selfie worlds or selfie type of environments?
So I have thought about doing stuff like that before, but the problem with selfie sets is they're really small. Like there's not a lot that you could do on a selfie set. They're literally what you see in the selfie is the entire set. My sets are like 8 feet tall by like 8 feet wide. Like they're made for you to get a whole bunch of different angles in your photo because I'm a costumer. I know that like I want I don't want to have to take the same photo exactly straight on in order to get like this background. You're very limited whenever you do that. And so I make my sets where I would want to shoot on them so that they're bigger, but you can do more with it and you can fit more than one person on the set. I thought about opening a studio with it that would be similar to like the selfie sets, but with like bigger scale sets for like people like me that want to do full photo shoots like that.
Right, I see. So this website Dollhouse, that Alice in Wonderland, it's $250 for 2 hours. Is that what you had to pay to take pictures there?
So yeah, it is quite a bit of money, but it's a large area. So what people will do is they will get a group of people together, a group of photographers, a group of costumers, and everybody will split it.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, and that makes it a lot easier.
So it's more like on the time allotment versus how many
it's not per
people.
person. Mm-hmm. It's just time. So there is an outdoor area that's like filled in swimming pool, gazebo, and stuff like that. Then there's like a kitchen that's all blue and pretty. Two, well, I guess I would say like one living room area and then two like foyer areas that are really pretty, and then like a bedroom and then like a bathroom. So there's 7 different rooms, and the bathroom is like a giant heart-shaped bathtub with like a full like mirror-length wall and like gold appliances. Like it's like really, really pretty. So there's like 7 rooms that people can use. And then there's like another bedroom. Yeah,
and the
so there's 8 rooms.
architecture is just wild. To say that this was just built in a house or an apartment is, I mean, the architecture in the living room or the foyer is so detailed.
Mm-hmm. She put a lot of time and money into it.
It looks really good though.
It does. So we'll typically get like, we'll get like 4 people and then like 2 or 3 photographers, and we'll rent it for 4 hours probably, which is like $400 or $500. And a lot of times if you do rent like a place like that, photographers will do it for free because they want to shoot in this location, but they don't want to pay like $600, on their own to like do it. So like my best friend, he's a photographer. He's like, no one has to pay me if they split this.
Right.
And so that's what we'll do.
See.
It's really good for everyone. Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I'd love to do a cosplay with you. So do you make all your own costumes?
Not all of them. So some of them I buy. Some of them I like my Psycho. I bought the stuff off Amazon and then I cel shaded it myself. So it was just like normal orange pants, normal white tube top, and then I made it look like it's from like the game. So a lot of it is like taking things and then like altering them. Some things I made, sometimes I like 3D model and 3D print things out, and then I'll paint them. My tails from Sonic, I made the tails in full, the tails and the ears, out of Build-A-Bear stuffing and fur. I did it all myself. So it's kind of like...
You took the stuffing out of the Build-A-Bear?
So actually there's a lady that she goes to Goodwill's and she buys Build-A-Bears and she takes the stuffing out and stuff like that and just sells the carcass. Like she'll wash it and everything and then like just sell like the carcass of it, because you can go to Build-A-Bear and get it filled up. Right. And so she was just giving away all of this stuffing. She was like, get it off my hands. I don't need it. And Build-A-Bear stuffing is very, very good stuffing because you can put like not a lot in and it'd be really full, or you can compact it quite a bit into there. So I used it for my tails.
Oh, okay. I like how she repurposed that.
Yeah. And
you said you do 3D printing as well?
Yeah, I do 3D printing of quite a few things, like my my trompette, that's the name. Trompette crown is 3D printed and painted and stuff like that. I made a ghost mask, stuff like that.
Okay, are you making the designs on CAD?
My brother's actually a 3D modeler, and so I've been getting him to make stuff for me as like practice, because he's also going to the same course as me, but he's like a little younger, so he's like just starting out. So and he's a really amazing 3D modeler. Like he's really, really good at it.
I'll have to keep that in mind.
So I've been getting him to kind of like make cosplay props like that, like files. And I'm trying to get him to get like a good stockpile of it so that he can open up a shop and like sell the 3D models, because that's what a lot of people do is they sell the 3D models of things and then other people go and 3D print it.
It's huge. Oh yeah, Thingiverse. It is huge in the cosplay community to 3D print.
And I was like, you have like a real talent for this, but he is, as I said, he's disabled. So getting like normal jobs is very difficult for him. So I was like, this is something that you can do, that you're already doing, that you already love to do, that doesn't require you to like go somewhere. I was like, and then you can still earn money doing it. And so I was like, I know what people are looking for props wise. And I know what I would need you to like 3D model it to make it so that I could put it together and paint it, you know, like my trumpet crown was in 3 different pieces so that I could paint each piece individually and then put it together. So I was like,
especially because there's only so much room to print stuff.
Yeah.
So you gotta, and it takes so much time.
It does.
Yeah. You gotta piece it together. Well, that's really cool. Send me that too. I want to see what that looks like. Is it finished?
The crown?
Yes,
I might actually have a photo of it on my computer. Hold on.
So does cosplay make any money? Like, do you make any money from cosplaying?
Yeah, so I guest at a lot of conventions and stuff, and sometimes I get paid just to be there. Sometimes I get paid through, like, I sell prints or I sell, like, stickers or buttons and stuff like that, because I also am partnered with this thing called Akibento, which is an anime mystery box. And whenever I work for them, they give me all of these items that they're like extra stuff that I can just like sell at my booth and stuff like that. So you make a little bit of money.
Oh, I see is this the crown? Oh my goodness.
So those are all my sets also that you're seeing.
That is also your sets? You found a tire? And
yes, I found a tire on the side of the road, and I was like, "This is like perfect for this." And I've hunted down those oil barrels with all of my heart.
Find oil barrels.
So my mom lives like in the middle of nowhere, and she has a bunch of neighbors that like just collect a bunch of weird stuff. And this one guy had like a pile of oil barrels, and he's like, "Yeah, I get them regularly for some job that he does," and he sold them for me for like 10 a piece. So I bought 2.
Wow! And did you have to paint them?
I painted one. I think it was the black one was white, and I painted it black.
Okay. Wow, look at you.
And I made the tatami screen wall that you see behind the other picture. I handmade that with actual like wood, and then I wood stained it. And I used actually shoji screen paper, so it's actually like real.
Now this is really cool. And when I met you at Makerspace and you said you were a set building, I knew you had to be like doing some awesome stuff. But I really thought you were talking about like set building, like stages for concerts or something. I don't even know what I thought you were doing. And I was thinking like set building for even like theater stuff. But I mean, for you to be doing this on your own individual level and using all these different processes to make it all come together, I think is really cool.
Thank you.
Yeah. And you're very creative.
Thank you.
I love this picture on the far right.
Which one is it? Here, I can there. Here's another one of that picture. That's my friend Rex. She's awesome. She's amazing. And she was my boo. And she so we had like those lights in the background actually changed color, and we would change them for people depending on like what their character was. And then the one with like the columns was actually it was my personal one that I wanted specifically. I brought it to this convention. He didn't like ask for this set. Like he hired me for a certain amount of sets. I think it was like 5 or 6. And I brought this one just extra just for funsies because I was already working on it personally for my thing. And I just collected a bunch of different columns. And that day I came to like set the stuff up. Somebody had broken one of my columns. And so that's why that column is broken in the background. And I was like, fine, like, well, it's broken now. That's fine. It works. So I just left it in there.
Wait, which one was that? The column?
The bunny girl, Venti from Genshin Impact.
Oh, I see it. Okay, here.
Yes. So there's a whole bunch of different colors.
Oh, okay. I didn't pull up this picture. Oh, yeah, dude. That is awesome. Even with the broken column, I think it gives it character.
I also had giant chess pieces that I gotten from my Alice in Wonderland shoot, and I set them out there, and it was like optional for people to put them on. I like having stuff at my sets that people can kind of like move around and customize for like their character. Like
Right.
the Shoji screen set was actually based off of, he had a lot of Demon Slayer. That's it. He had a lot of Demon Slayer. There's a lot of animes. Okay.
I was like Dragon Slayer, and I was like, How to Train Your Dragon. Okay, wait, that's not even anime.
He had a lot of Demon Slayer voice actors, and so he's like, I want one that's for this. And so this was actually modeled after an actual like scene in the anime that they had this in. And so there's like a bunch of different things that people can add and take away from it, because the scene was kind of plain. So there's like umbrellas in it, but those were movable. There's like a sword and stuff in there, which was movable. And there's like a little table for like with like teacups and stuff, which is also completely movable. And this one was actually bought by someone else. So I don't have this anymore, which is fine with me, because I was like, I know how to do it better now. So I'm going to make it better.
So what do people do when they buy your sets?
So I've only had one convention like buy them. So this convention rented them out. That's what they typically do, is they just like, hey, we want sets. This is what we're looking for.
Right.
I was like, this is what I have. And they're like, hey, we want this, this, and this. Or like, they're like, we want like this. Can you make a custom one? And so they usually rent them. And so I come, I set them up, I watch the sets, I take them down, I leave with them. But one convention bought them. And so I brought it. I was like, this is how you set it up. This is how you take it down. And then I was like, this is yours now. Keep it safe, because everything is breakable. You know, like the shoji screen is actual shoji paper. I had to replace it constantly because people would always like poke holes in it with like their weapons and stuff like that. Right. So it was, I was like, it's a lot of work.
Oh, I see. For the shoot, or would they just do it on accident?
On accident.
Okay.
A lot of people don't know. So the reason I have stuff like the different flooring between where that person is sitting and the wall is because people always get too close to the background. Your photos look better when you're not standing directly on a wall. You're supposed to take yourself a little bit away from it, because it gives really good depth to the photo, which is why I make my sets so big, so you can step back away from it. But people like to stand on the wall, and so they would always poke holes in the shoji screen, and I'm like, step away from the wall. Like, it looks better, and then you don't break it.
Right.
So
I would love to cosplay the Spy Family, because I have my little daughter.
Yes. Well, if you go to WeebCon, it's at the end of March. It's at the Gaylord. It's a wonderful convention. This is actually where these sets were at. I'm actually making a set for that was kind of based on...
Stop! You are not.
I am. Here, hold on. I'll show you. So I do 3D modeling. But whenever I do 3D modeling, I tend to like send it to people, and they're just like, this is like unrendered, you know, because like I'm not going to put like hundreds of hours into a single model to like show them like this is my general idea of a set. So I started making it in The Sims. So I'm about to show you a lot of people can't tell it's in The Sims, but this is my in The Sims models. And so the manor is actually built
Oh my god, you are making this?
It's not going to be exactly like this, of course.
Okay, but still.
But I am making it. Yes, I decided on black damask wallpaper, which is like that pattern that's on the red.
Are you gonna cosplay for this?
I am not cosplaying for this, no. But my friend does your almost every convention, so I was like, I'll make this for you.
Can I cosplay with her?
She's not doing it this time. As soon as I showed her this, she's like,
say, because me and my daughter could both play or cosplay, but we don't have well, no, I need what's his name?
You need Lloyd.
Yeah, Lloyd. I need Lloyd.
Well, you guys can still come and shoot on the set.
I would love to. I don't even know. I've never even been to what's it called? Like
a convention?
A Comic-Con thing. No, Comic-Con's like the brand on. I've never been to an anime convention. There we go. I know. I'm Asian.
My mom, she doesn't watch anime really, but she loves to cosplay as her D&D character. So she'll like dress up in like old medieval stuff, and like that's like her thing. Like, and so like whenever we go to like the Ren Fair and stuff like that, that's what she wears. There's a lot of people that go and they just go in like tech wear, like fashion. Like people like to wear fashion to these things, so they just go all
like
out.
the super like futuristic type of fashion thing.
Yeah, a lot of times people do super fashion. Sometimes people do super cutesy stuff. Like it's kind of like a bunch
What
of
did you
different things.
call it at the WeebCon?
WeaveCon.
How much
It's a really good convention.
Oh.
It is huge. It is huge. It's at the Gaylord. Do you know?
It pricey?
I don't think that it's more pricey than.
Heck, it's only what? There's no way. I'm trying to go to these conventions that cost $200 to $300, and I'm looking at the prices. No. For a 3-day pass for WeebCon is $65.
That is, yeah. WeebCon is a really good price. The hotel is expensive, but if you don't need to stay at the hotel to go, you know, especially if you live in the area. I'm staying because I have to be here all day long for my sets. So I'm staying, but you don't have to.
Well, they hired you. They should be paying for the hotel,
yes.
no?
They do. If you actually scroll to the bottom of the main page, you can see the sets. My sets are on the main page, and you can see photos of people on them.
I think I'm on their website, but it only shows, is it Discover Creators?
Weavecon.net. I'll just scroll to the bottom.
Oh, you know what? I'm on Tixer.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Is that the recording
saved?
Yeah, thank God the recording posted, because I'm like, oh shit. I tried to exit out of Tixer and I was like, oops. I heard the call drop and I was like, I hate myself right now. I hate myself. I don't even know if we could rehash like the hour we just spent talking.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but no, I was on the Tixer website and I tried to close out of it.
Go to weavecon.net.
Weavecon.net.
People usually just dress up to go. Not a lot of conventions have sets. I know LAX or Anime Expo. Anime Expo has sets. They're a huge convention, so they typically do have sets. But and they have like hundreds of thousands of dollars to put into it, so their sets are like really extravagant. But most don't. Like it's like kind of like a newer thing that a lot of conventions are starting to do, because not a lot of conventions are starting to be more cosplay central because everybody cosplays now. But no, they're only really posted depending on like whenever I get done with them, you know. So and he usually hires me like really close, like the deadline. So he doesn't usually get them early, but people just go dress up anyway, and a lot of people aren't going to change what they're wearing just because like the sets are there, because the Gaylord is beautiful, so everybody just takes photos there.
It's supposed to be in like the common area, like in that indoor.
It's all over. So a lot of people hang out in like that common area, but when you go through the common area, there's like 3 floors of stuff happening. So there's a giant ballroom, like a vendor's hall and like an artist alley.
Okay. Yeah, I just went there for Christmas with my family, so I kind of know what you're saying, and they decorate it typically. We can walk around and take pictures, but yeah, the rooms typically are filled with booths and stuff, so I can imagine that's where they would hold it.
Yeah.
Mahalo for tuning in. This is Wailana Welds with the Kanaka of All Trades podcast. This show highlights women and men in various hands-on trades. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to leave a rating and follow us on social media at Kanaka of All Trades. I would also love, if you are in a trade, to tag us on your social media posts at #Kanaka of All Trades. WeebCon is also going to be coming to North Dallas from March 29th to the 31st. It's a weekend event, so Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You could purchase your ticket days as individual days or as a 3-day pass. So purchase them online. They are still available. I know we're in the last tier for the sale, but they're still at really good prices. So check us out. I'm going to be there on Friday only. I know Eraserlettuce is holding her 3-day set. It's going to be the Spy Family set, so make sure to tag us in all of your posts, and if you run into us, I will be handing out some free stickers, and I would love to see you there.